Winner bracket semifinal, let's go! Boys, girls, we got the Clawy Kittens up against the Goon Platoon. Another best of 5 in the Murky Cup. So, this is where things are starting to get a bit spicy. Double elimination system, of course. Whichever team loses the series is not out of the tournament. They still got another shot. They drop down into the loser's bracket. But now we are in a situation where, of course, you really have to ask yourself as a team, do we get bounties, yes, no? It's not mandatory. What is a bounty? At the end of the day, if you give yourself a bounty, if you go for a bounty, it's a handicap. That's why we have to put a monetary incentive in here to incentivize the teams to actually try and get them done. So this is one of those series where you're very close to the grand final. And if you win this series and you enter the grand final, you are guaranteed to have second place in the tournament. And that comes with prize money in and of itself. So are you going for another bounty to just have a chance of getting a little bit more money through that bounty pool, so that secondary prize pool? Or are you instead just trying to at least secure the grand final slot here? So we'll see. I'm also not quite honest here because there is a winner bracket final. So yeah, if you win here, you go into the winner bracket final. You don't go into the grand final just yet. It still gets you very, very close to a prize money position. So that's one thing, but it doesn't quite guarantee it. So I was a little bit too excited about where we are in the tournament right now. Now we get Blaze and we get Brightwing. We have with Infernal Shrines, our starting map here, pretty traditional. We get bans on, well, frontline mostly from the Clawy Kittens. There are definitely a couple of heroes that you can target. They're targeting clearly Wit as the main tank, and they've also observed that Wit is playing essentially a lot of Jojo, a lot of Tyrael. Doesn't mean that you can ban out his hero pool, but you can certainly start to push him away a bit from his preference picks and try and get him, as the series continues, into a spot where he has a harder time getting things going for himself. Sylvanas and Falstad together with Malfurion, always a good hero for Scorch. We talked about it a few times, and he's also someone that is great on Infernal Shrines. Just getting the, or controlling with your roots, the access points into the shrines itself is great. There's a lot of choke points in general when we talk about the mercenary camps, shaman camps in particular, and some other avenues that you can lock down with him too. Now, as Diablo gets banned out, he's obviously one that can ping pong, but there is definitely a pattern. They're targeting frontline champions. And since we are now in a situation in which every single hero can only be played once, thanks to the tournament format, that also means, as we're moving in from map 2 to 3 and maybe 4, there's less and less frontliners available. So this is going to be even more pressure. So I would not be surprised if they just continue that ban pattern, just say we're going to ban out main tanks the entire time. And then we might see the Goon Platoon react to this by picking main tanks earlier in the draft as a result. Garrosh is in, and we get Morenas on Gul'dan. Little sneak peek here for the fans of the new Gul'dan skin. He has it, and he's playing it. So we get the Candle Boy and the new style of Gul'dan again in the game. Whereas over on the right side, we got the Goon Platoon with their final 2 picks right now. And, well, let's see. We still need a main tank for them, and a lot of them have been removed. 4 are now gone. I mean, game 1, so we still have plenty of options. But they decide in favor of Murden, and we get Leoric together with that. The Janitor's in the house, and that leaves us with Lopaka. He drops in Zeratul. The stage is set. Game number 1. The Clawy Kittens up against the Goon Platoon as we're heading into Infernal Shrines. We're off to the races, and as you can see already from the draft, we do not have a bounty right now. Falstad, I guess, could go for a Hinterland Blast, but at least the blue team decided that they are very much interested in winning the series here and moving on to the winner bracket final. We got the Clawy Kittens with Ubi on Zeratul, Vasilisk on Brightwing. Morenas is playing Gul'dan for the blue team, and Lopaka on Blaze with John on Garrosh. I love myself Ubi on Zeratul. It's always a pleasure to see him on that hero, so I expect big things from him in this game. Disciple on Sylvanas for the Gooners. We got Scorch on Malfurion, Herath on Leo, Wit on Murden, and Ultralisk with Falstad. So, let the games begin over here. Should be a pretty fun one. I expect fireworks out of this series. This is certainly gonna be a spicy one. Gul'dan, as I already said, has the new skin, and is rocking it here in the middle with the rest of the team as he's just firing away. Not going for the Fell Flame build, but instead, as Zeratul gets the kill on Muradin, instead going straight for Echoed Corruption, which is of course another fantastic tool for the shrines later. Different approach here, just a little bit. But yeah, Gul'dan going full Skeletor on us right now, as we have Disciple getting hit, but not stunned out too hard. So he is still able to jump on the wave, moves out here. And the game starts up with a kill in favor of the blue team. They're using Zeratul here as a scalpel with the help of Ubi. And that worked out pretty nicely. So as it stands, the game starts to slow down a little bit. We got our top lane with Zeratul against Leoric. Still the rotation intercepts are ongoing, and while Gul'dan is getting himself stacks, they need to also protect Brightwing. Well, Furion goes down, so at least one eliminated, and they're working on Disciple, and they get him too! Damn! The blue team on a tear here in the early game. Wow! These guys are not joking around. They are absolutely nailing it here. So, really, really nice plays that we're seeing from the kittens. Those kittens have claws, for sure. And it seems like they're sharpening them now on Leoric as well. He at least is able to get out. Was close enough as is, but yeah, that got really, really dicey. So, I gotta admit, the blue team is opening this up with an absolute bang. They got an early level 4 now too. 20 stacks for Falstad, but look at Sylvana. She gets dropped again. There's the flank from Blaze as he locks in the jet propulsion stun. That's Malfurion eliminated. 5 kills to 0. And the Goon Platoon is getting completely caught off guard by this. Keep in mind, the first series that the Goon Platoon played, they went up against the Warm Bodies and they absolutely demolished them. They caught them completely off guard and just ruined them completely. So that was something where I think they were the ones that were certainly, you know, just ready for the game and their opponents slightly overwhelmed. And now it kind of feels like we are seeing the exact opposite happening. Like, they are the ones that are just not ready for all of the aggression that we are suddenly getting against them. And the kittens are crushing the early game. And they're about to get another kill. Disciple is low and now he's gone. So that's kill number 6. They have a 1 level advantage in an early level 7 talent as we're going into the first punish of the game. That's like the worst case scenario for the Goon Platoon. Your opponent is level 7 and you basically have already lost the objective. So they're not even making a play for it right now. Falstad at the top gets also attacked. Ultralisk is ultra low and now he's ultra dead. He was trying to at least drop Ubi Zeratul. Couldn't do that either. Zeratul is now 9 stacks on his level 1 and they're just not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop. 7 kills to 0. The Goon Platoon is falling apart here. Brightwing is helping out Gul'dan at the bottom of the map. Turns this into an opportunity as he gets himself a few stacks. Leo, then again, I mean, that's kind of nice. Leo is getting himself a few stacks on the objective at least, so it's not like the red team has given up on this completely. They're soon going to get their level 7 talents, but they're still trailing behind. They are taking over the point though. So this is actually getting interesting. The Goon Platoon might be behind by nearly 1.5 levels, but they're certainly still willing to fight for the Punisher, and now they have level 7 abilities as well. Full-on dagger build for Sylvanas. Leo low, but so is Blaze. A lot of them have to be very careful here. Garrosh is coming in. 30 to 36 stacks. I think the red team has this one. The red team is gonna get it, aren't they? 38 to 36, 37. It's so freaking close. They're dead even. 39 and the blue team claims it. 39 to 39 minion stacks and the blue team in an absolute crazy finish gets the Frozen Punisher, and they even get a kill against Sylvanas together with it. Now they have the chance to push for the bottom fort, and Zeratul has during all of this eliminated the fort at the top lane. Unbelievable. What a... wow. Just wow. The fort at the bottom of the map is about to be destroyed, so that's essentially 2 forts gone. Falstad gets murdered by Zeratul. Ubi is doing what he does best, punishing fools everywhere, and this is just disastrous. The Goon Platoon is 3 levels behind now. We have 5 minutes in and the Goon Platoon is 3 levels behind. Guys, think about who plays on the red team. These guys are, like, again, we have Scorch here, Disciple. We got Ultralisk. Like, this is absolutely crazy. They murdered their team in the first round. And now they're getting, at least on the first map of this best of 5 series, hammered into the ground with barely any resistance. Falset falls again, and the kittens make this look easy. They're making this absolutely look easy. Scorch, isolated, killed, the fort gone. We are 6 minutes into this game, and the red team doesn't have a single fort standing anymore. Just think about this for a moment. 6 minutes in, not a single fort is standing anymore here. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. 23,000 damage for Gul'dan. And yeah, it's absolutely bonkers what they're doing here. The bottom fort is now getting claimed. Oh, sorry, the bottom camp. The fort was already taken down a long time ago. We're having drone over here in the middle, still sitting at the side. I mean, honestly, for the Goon Platoon, like, this is kind of, this is horrible. They need teamfight victories. They need to find an opening here somehow. Currently, they're at least on even talent, so I suppose that's the best that they can do. They went for Hinterland Blast, by the way, so it's indeed an attempt to get a bounty. But, yeah. Maybe they can get some kills with it, who knows. They can line them up properly, they have a shot. Here comes the attack. Blaze should fall. Well, then again, the rest of the team is moving in. Brightwing is saying hello, saves him for now. Has the bunker up in another second, doesn't even have to use it. And here comes the mind control. Maybe they can at least take Garrosh down. Certainly doesn't look like it. Bunk on the ground. Horrify. And bye-bye birdie. Falstad is dead. They try to go for Morenas. And even that doesn't work out for them. But Blaze dies. So finally a kill for the red team. Finally they're able to get a kill. And Zeratul is just side laning. He's just side laning. Ubi is not even with them. Ubi is just pushing the side lane with his cleave over and over again. Has now opened up the wall at the bottom. Can rotate back over. And he's punishing them where they stand. They play the macro game with Zeratul essentially. And have the rest of the team go absolutely ham in the fights. Now they are taking down Scorch. Zeratul is about to take down Leo at the bottom of the map. But will likely fall to Falstad. Wants him, gets him. And no way. Do not tell me he's gonna get him as well. Oh, Ultralisk! Too close for comfort, my friend. Oh, 15 kills to 2. Now, Zeratul traded his life for Leo's, and then he nearly got the second kill. That's actually bananas. He nearly got Falstad as well. So, we have by now 64 stacks for Falstad, 140 for Sylvanas. There is another Punisher up for grabs, and the blue team is now slowly making a way onto the point and trying to get the stacks together. Now, it could be contested. There's no level 13 yet for the Goon Platoon, but still, they certainly have the numbers to move into this fight. Muradin targeted, taunted, and taken apart. I don't think that Horrify was even needed, but better safe than sorry. Crazy. They're absolutely crushing them here. This is totally wild to me. I honestly, in my head, this game is already done, and I just want to see what happens in map number 2. But we should probably not count this out too early, because yeah, well, or maybe we should. But Fury and then Sylvanas are now both dead. That's 18 kills to 2. They make this look like a quick match. What is happening here? This is insane. What? Absolutely nuts. Level 16 versus level 13. They find Falstad again. Ultralisk is just trying to run here. And even that might not work out. Can't Gust, obviously. As Hinterland Blast gets taunted and gets killed. Gul'dan is scaring the minions on the shrine in the meantime. And is going to get them another Punisher. We're now 10 minutes into the game. And there's more and more ground lost by the red team. They're pinned down in their base. They're getting attacked where they stand. They're desperately looking for kill opportunities for anything that could get them a little bit closer to their opponent. But it's, again, it's a 3-level gap and a level 16 talent advantage that they're running here. So Gul'dan is now taking the Arcane Punisher and is pushing solo through the top lane. Can join the team here instead if he wants to, and it seems like that's going to be the play for him. So they're hoping to go for a two-pronged attack, I assume. And could make that happen through the middle of the map. Punisher goes up against Falstad up at the top lane. And over here, they're starting to get good hits in. Zeratul going deep. Ubi too greedy. I think at this point, it's difficult to not get too excited and a little bit cocky in the process. If you're playing your opponent onto a wall like they are, then yeah. Quick stun, interrupting the hinterland blast. That's Malfurion. That's Falstad. It's a double kill. Morenas dodges the Stormbolt and gets saved by Brightwing. What an escape by Gul'dan. That was sick. They take Sylvanas down, and now Muradin is on the run. Great Entomb, but even that might not save with. It does, but barely. Leo gets attacked, but check this save out. Have a look at this save. He gets thrown over. There's the jump, dodges the Stormbolt, would have died anyway, so the damage over time. The Stormbolt would have finished him off, and then Brightwing comes in, and they can't even get that kill. They lost 3 heroes in the process of attempting to take down Gul'dan. Now the keep at the top lane has taken damage. Falstad, nice little attempt to take down Gul'dan here with the Hinterland Blast, but even here it doesn't work. Now the fort at the bottom of the map gets attacked, and Ultralis gets sliced in half. Totally crushed. I mean, again, I said from the beginning that Ubi on Zeratul is just a delight. It is amazing, and that's exactly what we're getting here right now. Sometimes, yeah, the plays might be a little bit out there. He's obviously confident that they're taking this, but also lots of cool solo kills, lots of side lane pressure, lots of macro. Goes in again, nearly drops Leoric here, forces him back, and they are working the keep at the bottom of the map. Have to wait for the minion wave here if they really want to continue this. Now the red team is going to get level 16 in just another second, and then it's just a question of whether or not the blue team is waiting for level 20. But they are trying to force fights now, the Goon Platoon, because it's the only opportunity that they're ever going to get to fight on even talents. The camp is taken, Falstad is flying in. There's the horrified Muradin, jet propulsion! Muradin again caught in tower range, I believe. Maybe just barely out of it, and then gets taken apart by Zeratul again. So, one down, they go again for Falstad, and Ubi takes it. He dropped 1, he dropped 2, and now they're going in for the next kill. Sylvanas falls, Malfurion is also dead. Leo is the only survivor, and the team is now at 28 freaking kills to 3. 28 kills to 3. Zeratul with absolute no chill in this game. 42,000 damage for him right now, and they're going to try and end this right here, right now. Leo's defending, or is at least trying to, but they're just all dashing in on this. The shield is falling quickly. Shield is falling quickly. Gul'dan can obviously unleash at this point with his abilities. And, well, that is all she wrote. So, yeah, right now, 14%, and that's the end. That is the lead for the Chloe Kittens in the winner bracket semi-final against the Goon Platoon. GG. We're jumping into the second game in just a second, but before we do, guys, keep in mind we still have an ongoing campaign with Opera GX. You can support the stream for free, it doesn't cost you a thing, and it takes only a minute of your time. All the information is in the description of the video, as you can see right here. All you gotta do is click the link, download the browser, install it, and watch the rest of the YouTube video, or maybe jump onto the live stream at some point. Use it for some general browsing. If you don't like it, if it's not for you, that's totally fine. You can just uninstall it, but just testing it out would already help us a lot here on the channel, and would also help us to create more Heroes events in the future. We just had the Nations Cup, and of course this year we also want to run more Meta Madness. We want to run bounty tournaments too, and this is something that would actually help us to do exactly that. So if you haven't done it yet, it would be amazing if you could do it. Again, it takes a minute of your time, it's completely free, and I'd really appreciate it. So all the information can be found in the description of the video. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of the series. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was quite the statement. A 1-0 advantage now for the Chloe Kittens against the Goon Platoon. And that I did not expect. I mean, they murdered them. They absolutely murdered them. No bounty attempt by the blue team. Just clean game, coming in, trying to take them on, and the Goon Platoon was completely crushed. So it's a little bit wild. Like, I honestly don't really know what to expect now from map number 2, because going into this series, especially how the Goon Platoon presented themselves in previous matches, I really expected this to be a fairly close game between them. Maybe not necessarily on the score. We've seen like super close matches that ended up with a 3-0 anyways, where it just always felt like each team could take whichever map. But this was such a beating that I don't know what to think about it. Was that just a map where things fell apart for the Goon Platoon and they'd say like, okay, whatever, this isn't ours, map 2, let's go, and they just mentally checked out at some point? Or is this really an indication for us of where these two teams are right now in regards to their power levels? Because that's kind of crazy. We have a slight change also in the ban pattern now all of a sudden. Keep in mind that Disciple is basically the god of Orphea. So he brought Orphea back and loves to play her. In the previous game, we had a very, very strong tendency to ban out tanks by the kittens. And I would assume that the kittens themselves are now going for a Jojo pick, unless she gets banned now. So Jojo is a first pick, highly likely. That would remove 2 of the heroes that we'd usually place, but as I said before, there's a Johanna pick. I would still expect the red team now to adjust a little bit to the ban pattern that we observed earlier and now pick the tank for themselves in a higher priority slot. Because if they don't pick a tank now in the 1-2, it's very likely that the Chloe Kittens are banning another one out, as they already showed before. So they go for Azmodan, so they already lock in what kind of bounty they are trying to accomplish here. And is it going to be a tank, or what's the thought process here for them right now? But yeah, Azmodan bounty already confirmed. And they go for Urel. Okay, so no tank being chosen, which means that very likely the kittens are now banning another tank out when we come to the next ban phase. And of course, for us also still a question, is the blue team, now that they're in the lead, all of a sudden a little bit more willing to risk something and to get themselves a bounty attempt? Or are they just saying, no way boys, map 2 will still go all out without a bounty attempt and just like try and take it? With the Hakan Maiev, it's currently looking like it. They play their triple front line here. And as I said, I would expect a main tank ban. They seem to be targeting Wit. And as I said before, heroes can only be played once. That means the 10 heroes we saw on the first map are out, and therefore 2 tanks are already removed. And Sitges gets banned, Tyrael gets banned, we take a Johanna, Diablo's still up. So you could now eliminate him. That would be another good one. And this is all with like later games already in mind a little bit. But let's see what they're deciding to do. We get Hanzo, he gets taken out. Right now, obviously, we don't have range damage yet for the blue team, so they still need to pick that up. Plus, in addition to that, also their healer, so that's going to be the next one on the list for them, those two. But with the final ban now coming in, the question is still what kind of strategy do we have on the ban pattern? So is that what we saw in game number 1? A consistent play, and it seems to be. They go for Diablo again. So I feel this is the pattern here. The only thing that broke it was Disciples of Fia getting banned out on Tomb of the Spider Queen as a map. That's the only compromise that they basically made with this. And that allows for a little bit more wiggle room on the side of, I would say, the Goon Platoon now. There's still enough around. But if we're heading into, let's say, game number 4, even game number 5, this could really become a bit of a problem. So they go for Varian now. They need a bit more burst damage behind this. And this is, if you go for a Varian sniper comp with Taunt, you need more burst behind it. Azmodan alone is not going to cut it here. That's just not going to be a thing. So let's see what Disciple locks in for the team. But if he goes for a mage with burst damage based off cooldowns, then you have Azmodan plus another mage, so a little bit iffy. We get Anduin, and, well, we get Chromie. So, there's some of the burst damage that could be unleashed by the Goon Platoon. That's not the case anymore. So they got the triple front line, and then they have the burst from Chromie plus Anduin that can also help them out with a quick pull. Now, that leaves us with the final pick. The first map was brutal for the Goon Platoon. Absolutely brutal. They actually had to delay the second map a little bit because they had to apply some aloe vera to all of the burns that they received on the first map. But apparently they're good to play right now. Nobody had to go to the ER just yet. Could happen after game number 2 depending on how it lasts. And they go for Li Ming here. Li Ming Azmodan. Alright, let's see what they can do. Ladies and gentlemen, the Goon Platoon up against the Chloe Kittens as we're heading into game number 2. On the left side, in blue, we got Morenas on Chromie here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. John and Johanna, we got Lopaka on Maiev. Ubi is playing Dehaka and Vasilisco on Anduin. As on the right side of the map, we have the Goon Platoon. A little bit of a swap in heroes. Ultralisk is the one playing Li Ming for the team now, and Disciple is rocking Azmodan with Gluttony on level 1. With Hirath on Urel, Scorch on Anna, and Wit is playing Varian. So, this is an opportunity for the blue team to pull ahead with the 2-0. So, here you got your shot now to get one step closer to the grand final. Once again, no bounty attempt by the Kittens. I mean, they don't care. Group stage, that's where you can go for your bounties. Here, they want to advance in the tournament. They want to get to a spot where prize money is guaranteed for them. And this would be a pretty big step into the right direction if they can take a 2-0 lead over the Goon Platoon in the semi-final of the winner bracket. We have Azmodan with a bit of assist here as well, as they're trying to stack him up. So get some extra damage through Li Ming, and that certainly helps to take those minion waves out early. But now down at the bottom of the map, for example, we got Hirath over here already, and on the left side, the next camp about to be claimed by the Chloe Kittens as well. A little attack here against Jojo, but she's still doing alright. Azmodan with 28 stacks, seeing they are 30. Early game Azmodan stacking is always neat. I mean, again, they are trying to get more of a sniper comp going with Variant's Taunt on level 4. And then if you can drop the damage from Li Ming, you have a lot of burst there. Later in the game, Azmodan could help with that too. I doubt that he's going to make that big of a difference right now early on to net them a kill or two. But he can certainly run the macro game on the opponent, and then as stacks come together and quests get completed, he can emphasize team fights in the game as well. But as the attacks continue, we have the mid lane pressured quite a bit. And this is where the blue team for the first time makes their stand. So shots being fired all around here. We got Li Ming at the top lane, just grabbing up a couple of the gems as you do, and hoping to turn them in soon. Lopaka doing the same thing in the middle. I mean, nobody hasn't really turned anything in just yet. It's very much in the early stage of the game. Only 2 minutes in that as far as now, right now. But here comes again Varian, Tether, and ooh, good heals. This could have been a problem. It still could be. They're trying to body block him a bit, and do, but he gets out eventually. Or does he now? Because Lopaka is going for a second play. And now Varian is basically gone and indeed turns into first blood. So Varian is eliminated. That was a really good kill from the Kittens. Very persistent around this. I mean, really chasing him down here with Maiev engaging again. So great job by Lopaka, with Ubi running the show on game number 1 as he was playing Zeratul. Now it's the Maiev plays that we're getting from Lopaka that's trying to make the moves. 96 stacks for Azmodan. Not too bad, actually. Like, Azmodan is looking pretty alright now in his stacking process, and even participating in the team fight a little bit to pressure the opponent further. We have Taunt up for Varian, and yeah, Dehaka now all the way down at the bottom of the map with nobody turning any gems in just yet. So they have the numbers. They could start to go for some of the turn-ins, but we haven't really seen it yet. Maybe we're talking about someone like Dehaka. He should try and turn in. That's exactly what we're getting from Ubi, and he delivers. Urel not contesting that. So that means that 23 are taken into the turning point. And for Dehaka, it's quite neat, because with 23, he became quickly a prime target for potential ganks by the Goon Platoon. Azmodan actually already does a surprising amount of damage for this. 124 stacks, and that is before level 7 connects. Oh, but Ultralisk, he gets tethered. And he's not the only one that's in trouble. They get a lick on Anna, and that's Chromie with another kill. 3 kills to 0. And level 7 in the hands of the Kittens. They're even trying to go for Urel here. They barely missed that kill, but they get another lick. What the hell? These guys are on fire right now. On absolute fire. This is nasty. 5 kills to 0, and they are looking amazing here. Level 7, we're getting the bombardment now from Azmodan. But this could be a turn-in. And it's, well, it should be a turn-in. They are delivering with the Haka at the bottom of the map the final 3 gems. And that's Web Weavers now. So the Clawy Kittens are in such a great spot here. They've built up momentum in game number 1 and just carried it over into the second map of the series. And the Goon Platoon is currently not looking great here. So, yeah, this is going to get real difficult for them. Azmodan at least will help. I mean, he has a fair amount of wave clear now. It's not the typical build that we're seeing for him, by the way. Very heavily focused now on bombardment and also on gluttony here. So they're going to get a lot done with that, as the quest is nearly completed on level 1, and then they're still working the baseline. Level 10 would certainly come in handy, but it's going to be the blue team that locks this in first. Chromie indeed already has her Slowing Sands. So now it's just a question of how much damage can they do on those forts. Lopaka went in deep. Has to be really careful here with the attack. But they jump on Azmodan and they take him down. 27 gems on the ground. Scorch delivering, grabbing what he can. But they also lose Varian, and that leaves the top completely defenseless. So this is a fort eliminated with the first objective that the Kittens get. And they have level 10 abilities now. So they have level 10. Blessed Shield is ready. And they were able to take a fort out. And now they can push for the next one. With level 10 in your hands, I mean, what else are you going to do? So they can push for more structures. The Haka at the bottom of the map. And you rather... That's 12 gems. Careful. Blessed Shield. Disc is out. Isolation. And he is gone. So are the 12 gems that she still had. They still have a turn-in, but they lost a lot here. That's 8 kills to 0. I have no idea what exactly the Kittens had for breakfast, but they are murdering things. It's insane. It's insane how on point they are right now. And again, I want to stress this once more, that they actually at no point in the series so far said, okay, we're going to go for bounties. It's a risk-reward calculation. It's just what it is. If you go for bounties, you accept the handicap. There is a carrot at the end of a stick that is dangling in front of you, where you could get additional money if you complete the bounty. Even if you fail the bounty, you still get half a bounty ticket. But, of course, if you are just saying, no guys, we are at this point simply interested in making it towards the later stages of the tournament and locking in the prize money for ourselves, then bounties are a detriment to that. They are, by definition, handicaps. And the blue team is not willing to accept anything of this. The Goon Platoon is still trying to work that in. And it's right now not working. Falstad with Hinterland Blast in game number 1. And now, more importantly, Azmodan, who might have a big impact on the macro game. But it also comes with certain risks, and this is not working for them. Nice timeout for Chromie. I don't think it's going... actually, is it going to save her? Wow. Okay. Chromie makes it. Not bad. Chromie survives this. Nano boost on Ana. Oh, and Maiev is able to get away with 24 gems in her hands. Entire blue team is still alive. That's actually insane. That's crazy. We saw some nasty escapes on the last map, and now we have basically the same thing happening once more. 300 stacks. Finally they get a kill on Maiev. 300 stacks on Azmodan. And I gotta give it to them. Azmodan is right now starting to run the show. He has more damage than Liming. And we're not only talking siege damage here. He has actually out-damaged her in hero damage. Now, they're probably going to fight this fight back and forth, but this entire play with this many stacks that he already has is starting to do well. Not only does he control the lanes for them by taking out those minion waves, but Azmodan is right now also significantly contributing to the hero damage. Well, at least he did when he was still alive, because after he got caught there, Chromie just said, thank you very much, that's a big hitbox. Can't miss that. And then dropped him where he stood. Finally a kill, by the way, for the Goon Platoon. I didn't even point it out, but it was the Maiev kill in the middle was the first kill for them. So now it's 10 kills to 1. And talking about Maiev, she's back to business and her old shenanigans. Comes in and gets a tether. Joe is a bit low. There's the lick on Varian. Chromie, this time she's dead, right? This time she's gone. No, because they have Anduin. Of course they do have Anduin. Why am I even surprised? That little fucker has been ruining kills and plays ever since he was introduced to the game. So, there it is. Everybody thinks, we got her. And then Anduin is like, nope.
Nope.
Not happening. Comes in and just simply goes for a quick pull. So, this at the bottom of the map against Azmodan. 343 stacks now for him. So his baseline will soon be completed, which is going to be real nice for him. I mean, again, area increase and then the additional damage. What more could you possibly ask for? Blessed Shield not connecting here as the blue team is trying to get aggressive. Still a level ahead, by the way. But can they maintain that pace? Because at some point the scaling that we're seeing for the red team might just be a little bit too much to handle. I mean, look at Jojo. Jojo's gonna fall here too. Guys, we're seeing more and more kills now for the Goon Platoon. And they, right now, have also Web Weavers. I'm just saying, the early game was an utter disaster for the red team. But they're all of a sudden starting to build up some momentum here. Lopaka is dead. That's gems lost. Your bottom fort is basically destroyed now. So, this is changing. The dynamic of this game is massively changing currently. And Azmodan is a big part of this, I might add. He's not top damage for the team anymore, but he is certainly doing a lot for them. Just the lane control alone is massive. They're destroying the second fort. Structurally, they've just now taken the lead. Jojo gets pushed around as she was trying to go for a light bomb engage. So that didn't connect either. And yeah, this could get difficult. Chrome is at 37,000 damage. And Azmodan, he scares me a little bit. Yeah, that mythic reward is not far off. But he might not survive this. This one is a bit too much for him to handle. Gets finally taken out by Chromie. He's at 434 stacks, so yeah, Azmodan is nearly done. 16 stacks, and it is locked in. By now we have another play for Varian. He gets away at least. Varian goes out. 16 talents. A nice little edge for the blue team. And they're right away trying to use it. And they're murdering Ana. That was 25 gems. Ultralisk is trying to recover a couple of them at least. And is able to nibble, but yeah, the Blessed Shield is also there. Jojo not afraid to throw that out. They got the turn in. Basilisco is the only one that has to deliver. And then they're gonna have their next set of Web Weavers. And they're claiming them. Level 16 talent advantage. Azmodan, again, look at this. Easily getting this. So now more damage and a wider radius. Bigger area. So this could be huge for them. Disciple is already contributing a lot for the team. But now this is going to accelerate things. And early game wasn't great for them. But they have a lot of cards to play now. And we'll see if they're able to pull that off. 16 is also going to be ready for the defense, I'd say. Yeah, there it is. So with level 16, we're getting another synergy talent with total annihilation. So that's also pretty massive. And Azmodan, he's becoming that menace that he was back in the day when he was played regularly on this map. And Urel is dead. One dead space goat, please. Trying to go for Varian here. Got Lick, not there. Azmodan defending at the top. No problem. Li Ming defending in the middle. And the rest is just focusing onto that bot lane. That fort easily gone. No issue. Quickly destroyed. Jojo. Yeah, for a second I think they were trying to engage here and get a Blessed Shield connected. That didn't quite work out. Yeah, look at those hits. Massive damage from Azmodan now. 140,000 siege damage. I mean, just put this in perspective real quickly. Chromie is the second highest siege damage dealer in the game, and she's at 108k. So he's 40,000 damage ahead. And in hero damage, he's at 44,000. That might still be behind Li Ming, but he is still outpacing the top damage dealer on the other team. Now, Disciple has turned in here. We're just trying to maybe turn in 2. They technically have enough gems for a full turn in. But with Azmodan destroying another minion wave in the middle, that also means that this entire wave is heavily pushed back. The blue team is getting another Web Weaver wave, so they're going for the double. And I think they're going to get Ana here as well. So Ana is going to get destroyed. Beautiful flank. Maiev was looking to see if she can maybe interrupt Varian 2. That didn't work out for them. But they have Web Weavers now coming. The fort in the mid lane is going to get destroyed for sure. Boss is already softening up the wall at the top a little bit. But what can the Web Weavers do now? And Azmodan, he needs to defend. He needs to help them here. And ideally push the team back. With his level 16 talent, he certainly should be able to. But this is where it becomes now tricky. 1.5 levels of a lead still for the Kittens. But again, more and more momentum that we saw for some time for the Goon Platoon. Is it gonna be enough to turn the game around though? Azmodan is becoming a powerhouse. An absolute powerhouse here. Another big... Look at the damage. Look at how ridiculous the damage is. Jojo is gone and 52,000, 54,000 damage now for Azmodan. I don't know if they can handle him. I really don't know if they can handle him. Li Ming got attacked, but now Dehaka is in some trouble. Here comes the taunt. Azmodan, is he going to get another hit in? Nah, this time no. Instead is dealing with the middle. No Black Pool, or has the Black Pool ready now. They got the level 20 talent, but Jojo is obviously gone. And there's still all of the keeps standing. Every single keep is still standing for the Goon Platoon. All the Kittens were able to do with their boss and with the turn-in was to destroy one fort and pin the red team down in their base for a while. That's all that they were able to accomplish here. And in half a level, we are going to see Azmodan with his final talent. He already is a problem. You could see it when he connected the hit with 3 heroes on the blue team side, how much HP they lost. So now another minion wave is just eliminated. They come in on Ana! Ana! And she's dead. And Azmodan gets another triple hit, but they lose Li Ming. Azmodan's damage is nasty. Nasty. 62,000 right now. Like, every single time that he comes in with another globe with a black pool, he just wrecks him. Look at Chromie. That wasn't even a black pool hit. Anduin, he needs to heal. And there's now the upgrade. Black pool, globes of annihilation empowered. So, at this point, even more value out of all of this. Bam, another hit. Chromie, low. Minion wave, eliminated. How can they push for keeps if their minion waves are always gone? Another hit, and they're dropping mega low. They're trying to go for Azmodan, and he just doesn't care. He sits in the back, and he just locked in 10,000 damage in that last fight. 10,000 damage! Look at him! They have to dodge this, and obviously with the quest, with the mythic reward locked in, his added radius is making it so difficult for them to escape too. So once again, a keep has taken a little bit of damage, but it's 16 kills to 4 and it just doesn't matter. Now both teams are on level 20. And the blue team has to think about, how are we handling this? Chromie trying to get away. There's the kill as Li Ming gets the reset. Maiev is about to get away. Anduin low, but he at least is able to get out. I'm not so sure about Jojo and Dehaka. They at least try and get a kill on Ana, and even that isn't happening. Azmodan drops Jojo, and then Dehaka dies too. I honestly think that this is the moment where the game just breaks for the blue team. I think it has already for a while now. They just can't push. Every time they try to push, Azmodan is shutting them down. It's just what's happening right now. They try to push Azmodan, boom, minion wave gone. Minion wave gone. Triple hit against heroes on the other side, all of them on half HP. He's at 83,000 damage. Half a minute ago, I told you he was at 70k. He doesn't care. Azmodan is too much to handle. Yeah, that's the real Lord of Terror right there. Diablo. That's the weaker brother at this point. Azmodan with hits after hit. If they connect, they are in trouble. Here come the Web Weavers. The keep is destroyed. Top fort will fall, but they are of course interested in the victory. They want this. They're already pushing in. Azmodan is hitting like a truck, and all the blue team can do is try and defend. Core, still with a little bit of a shield left though, so hasn't lost any hit points yet. But another big hit from Azmodan! And the bottom keep is also starting to drop low. Azmodan, by the way, picked up another 10,000 damage, just saying. Gets a big hit in, also down here. Top side, the keep is in trouble. The blue team is defending well. I mean, I gotta give them some kudos here. They're doing the best that they can to somehow defend. And they have done an amazing job throughout the entire game. Their early game was brutal. It was crazy to see them connect on how they performed in game number 1 and just get this many kills. But right now, they just can't deal with the fat guy. They just can't. The little fatty over here is just like dropping one big one after another. And yeah, he's hitting 3-pointers all day, every day. And they don't know how to deal with it. They killed Anna multiple times. But how do you deal with Azmodan right now? If you can't get close to him to get the kill, and you can't dodge the damage, eventually he's going to murder you. So, yeah. The turn-in, not quite available for either one of the teams. Both are close. The Goon Platoon is trying to secure the gems that they have. And while all of this plays out, we're now having the Haga trying to defend at the bot lane. That's obviously at least one good tool for them. They have a global. I mean, technically, I guess the Goon Platoon has too. Because Azmodan can reach pretty much the entire map. Not quite, but he's close. And at least they got the Haga here. So there's the taunt. Alright, the Haga is coming in. The Haga is ready and gets immediately met by a sleep dart from Ana. And they're instantly moving back here. Instantly. Li Ming looks for a big hit. It's a little bit of damage. Maiev, she wants Azmodan. They're all looking for him. Here's already the nano boost on Li Ming. They're trying to get the kills here. The red team chasing them. Blessed shield out, but look how low they are. Once again, the kill, the double kill. Chromie, Maiev, they're both gone. And now it is Jojo that will die next. Johanna is eliminated, and this is game. Right here, right there is where the red team wins. They take down Anduin. Ubi is gone. It's a 5-man team wipe. And with the help of Azmodan, they lock in the W. The Goon Platoon locking in a bounty and tying the series as they win on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Nicely done. GG and well played. Alright, series is tied, everybody. Azmodan has made it happen. Not only did they go for a bounty, but they also did, like, the bounty champion itself is essentially what won them the game. So awesome stuff here. Was very, very reminiscent of the good old days where Azmodan was actually a crucial factor in the meta. That's a long, long time ago, but that was very reminiscent of exactly that. Now we're heading into game number 3. At this point, we are guaranteed at a minimum 4 maps. 20 heroes have now been played and cannot be played again. It's kind of interesting in the context of what we already observed earlier, the ban patterns of the kittens, where they were clearly starting to pressure Wit and the frontline hero pool of the red team. So if they're continuing that trend, then we're going to likely see a ban on the side of Tyrael again. They might ban Diablo once more, and they are certainly going to attempt to apply more and more pressure onto him. And the thought process here, at least so it seems, is as the series continues to push him into a spot that he is going to feel uncomfortable with. Not necessarily making a big impact in the earlier stages in game number 1 and game number 2, but now if they continue the trend, they could definitely try and see if that is going to bear fruit in game 3, 4, and potentially game number 5. Now, it might lead the Goon Platoon to pick their tank earlier than they did so far, so I suppose that the priority is going to rise to make sure that the blue team can only ban 2 at a maximum and doesn't have that third ban available for another frontline ban. But they are now continuing the ban of fear, apparently. It's the one compromise that they're making, where they're saying, okay, the Cyberwood of Fear, not something that we want to deal with, let's ban that out too. They started doing that on map 2, and they're continuing it here in game number 3. We're going to Dragonshire. One of the 2 teams is going to take the lead. ETC and Hanzo have both been eliminated. Yeah, now of course with the first pick here for Dragonshire, what's gonna be the choice? Which role in particular? And they go for Chen. Side laner. Alright. I would still expect the Kittens to take a tank for themselves right now. And then we have the chance for the red team to take in the 2-3 their own frontliner. But now you have a shot at taking another one away. And since they clearly were thinking about targeting the front line, no, they're actually not going for it. They're going for Hogger and they go for Rhaegar, so they're not too worried about it. I would still be very surprised to not see a tank picked now by the Goon Platoon. Unless they're trying to indicate, boys, you can ban out as many tanks as you want, we don't care. Witt's hero pool is more than deep enough, and we're not going to run out of heroes that he is confident with. So, with Chen already locked in as their first pick, and him going up against Hogger in the one-on-one on the top lane on Dragonshire, we now get a Nubarak, and we get Tyrande. So they're clearly going for a dive combo here. They're diving in with the Nubarak, they're trying to get the stuns locked in. Chen can jump in too, and then we have Tyrande with a follow-up as the stun, the Hunter's Mark. They need burst damage behind it, but it's a bit of a similar approach. It's not quite the same, but a little bit of a similar approach of what they were doing with Varian beforehand. Now, the next question is also, what is their bounty approach? Are they going for a bounty again? They tried one in game number 1 and game number 2. It's the Kittens that actually said, nope, we're not interested. But what is the Goon Platoon now going to do here? What's their choice? Junkrat is banned. Now that the tank has already locked in, they don't need to ban the tank anymore. And they're getting rid of Junkrat. So Genji gets eliminated. But yeah, are they going for a bounty? Yes or no? And, I mean, more importantly, what is the blue team now going to do here? They've been playing a really straightforward game so far. We get Arthas and we get Vala. Okay. Could be an arrow build here for Vala. I like Arthas plays these days. Like, I don't know. I think Arthas in general, it's nice that he's slowly starting to make a bit of a comeback. It's not massive. I still think Blizzard should tinker with some of the numbers after the rework. They already have, but I think they should go a bit farther with it. Would be cool to see that. But having Arthas back in the meta would be awesome. And he's getting, for sure, more play than he did previously, so that's a good thing. Kel'Thuzad and Alarak. So they're actually going for the Kel'Thuzad bounty here. So we certainly have a squishy. Frost against Frost, I suppose. And, I mean, if Kel'Thuzad is able to lock in some... If they are keeping him safe, with Tyrande, Hunter's Mark, plus stuns, and then also Alarak behind it, you certainly have some big tools that you can use here. But let's see if that's gonna work for them. Morena's final pick for the blue team. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading to Dragonshire, our final map, and we get Abathur. Alright, I'm certainly game for this one. Dragonshire, map number 3 here in the winner bracket. Semi-final. Let's see who takes the lead. The Chloe Kittens against the Goon Platoon. Okay. Ubi on Hogger for the blue team. We get Vasilisco on Rhaegar. Morenas is currently playing Vala for the team. We got Lopaka on Abathur. So the Abathur boosted Arthurs, very likely is what we're going to see here. Jordan on the frontliner. And then over on the right side, we get a Lightning build for Disciple, who plays Alarak for the Goon Platoon. Wit with the Nubarak. Scorch on Tyrande. And we have Ultralisk on our Bounty Hero, playing Kel'Thuzad. As we see Hirath on Chen, once again here with the Accumulating Flame. And Abathur is actually going into a Toxic Nest build. So, no Symbiote focus thus far. Toxic Nests instead. And Vala, as already expected, with an arrow build. So, it's all about how much Morenas can stack towards the late stage of the game. I mean, there's a lot of stacking. There's a lot of scaling happening on both sides. With Alarak being in play, of course, in particular. His level 4 and his sadism stacks are going to be absolutely crucial as we're moving through this. Hogger is already working on the first camp, and well, talking about working on things, they're working on Arthur's, and they're taking him out. Arthur's is gone, and this means they can potentially steal the camp away. They're certainly trying. They're here with the entire team, and you have an Abathur team against you, so what are they going to do, especially now that Arthur's is not with them? They're stealing this away, and that is incredible for the Goon Platoon. That's amazing. That's an incredible start into game number 3. Game number 1, the Claw Kittens completely demolished them. They made them look silly. Game number 2 started the same way, but they brought it back. And now in game number 3, the momentum has completely changed. And the early game is already looking fantastic for the red team, as they are forcing the defense at the top, damage on the fort, and make Chen's life a lot easier at the start of the game. So that was an important one right there. We now have the shrines up. We'll see how much Abathur can do as this continues. Vala at least has some decent stacks, so that's good. 4 stacks already, thanks to the early fights. And if she is able to get some solid numbers in as the game continues, she can at least in the later stages wreck them hard. But we have a lot of burst and CC for the Goon platoon, and this is what would probably worry me the most. Nice Howling Blast connects though. Arthas is going to try and work in the baseline. But at the same time, the Howling Blast is more so where it is. It's his biggest tool for now. Here comes the extended lightning, negatively charged. As we get the 2 talents locked in for him. And of course, Vala is now the repeating arrow, so she can be a bit more aggressive in the attempt to get stacks together for herself. And is pressuring Disciple hard. Disciple is in trouble. And he goes down. Disciple goes down. Double channel. Nobody on the Dragon Knight yet. Chen could move in, doesn't, and Vala locked in 2 more arrows. That's actually really nice. 2.5 minutes in and she's sitting at 9 arrows. That's pretty good. Not like we saw that many big fights just yet, but that's really nice progress for Vala at least. So they're off to a good start with her. Abathur though, we'll see how that works. I mean, he's going full Toxic Nest build for now with a Prolific Dispersal on level 4. And then we get the Envenomous Nests on level 1. It can be really cool on a map like Dragonshy, because this is a very rotational map that you have here. This time they get the camp. I was just about to say, if they lose another Bruiser camp to an invade from the Goon platoon, they would probably be pretty unhappy about that. But yeah, it's a kill versus a kill. Slight advantage in experience for the blue team. And for now, we got 7 stacks for Kel'Thuzad on his baseline. That's obviously pretty important here. Once that he gets this additional spell power, it's going to be huge. And yeah, their burst damage is just absolutely absurd if properly unleashed. So if they get all of that in, then it's going to be tricky. But here we are. Early level 7, double control on the shrines now. Vala has also gone into Frost Shot on level 7 now. 10 stacks for her. Everybody's still sitting in this little Bermuda Triangle right over here, where heroes tend to disappear. But on top of everything else now, we're getting Abathur with a continued Toxic Nest build. There's so many rotations on this map that it can really... I mean, it can really, first of all, slow you down when you're trying to rotate. It also gives information to the blue team. In addition to that, it does a certain amount of damage. I mean, this is another problem. Here come the next stacks as the arrows keep connecting, and wit is low. So Vala is doing well here. As long as they can keep Kel'Thuzad and Alarak low, I think they're going to be in a decent spot. But as the game continues, there is a really good chance that we're going to see those two just ramp it up. And that's the risk. That's the big risk here. Arthas is doing pretty okay at the front so far, though. And is also working a couple of stacks on the baseline in, so is not really skimping on those. We have arrows coming through from Vala, currently sitting at 14. So still be very careful, and Morenos is playing the spell. Morenos is getting good damage in. Alarak is also stacking. He's by now sitting at 9 on his level 4. Hogger is pushing at the top. I mean, the game is all over the place right now. It's just like always shrine control, trying to pressure, going for the double and pressuring the middle. But now Arthas was able to take down Kel'Thuzad, so that's already big. And Vala worked in a few more arrows. If Morenos can keep it up the way that he's doing currently, they're going to be in a good spot there. And Arthas, I would actually not count him out too much. I mean, we haven't really seen him go full on hardcore damage mode ever since the patch was released. So that's the thing. But he's sitting at 11 stacks already here. That's not too bad. Tries to get the... Oh, that was actually clutch. Good interrupt. Abathur is helping out at the top, and now that they have level 10 abilities, he obviously went into copy. Even with the build that he has chosen for this game, it's a copy play. Syndragosa for Arthas, that's an interesting play to make. That is definitely taking survivability away from him. But they're now working the bot lane. Abathur has actively helped at the top. Try to go for Alarak. And they're gonna get him. They dive deep. They went through the side wall, and even the Abathar copy is there. They wanted that kill, and they got it. They take down Alarak, and if they make moves like this throughout the game, then he's gonna have a very tough time to get his sadism stacks in. So the copy of Abathar has already been eliminated now. We got 3 kills to 1. Vala attacked. Still looking good here. Tyrande falls. There's a strafe. And that's enough to drop Khaldor as well. Momentum. The kittens. The kittens with plenty of it. They got more momentum here. And now they're going to get the bottom fort. So this is already a huge success for them. One of the factors was obviously the early level 10 ability as well. Abathar. Yes. The little snail. All big now. I'm a Dragonite. Big battle axe in hand, and it is prime time, snail time, right here.
Hail to the king, baby.
Oh yeah. Nice move on Vala though. Yeah, that was a bit too much for her to handle. She still got some arrows out, but no chance of escaping here. So Abathar needs to move away. They got a wall, and they also created space for Hogger at the top that pushes for another fort. 14 stacks now for Khaldor, so again, he's also working on the quest rewards here. Arthas is at 24 stacks on his level 1 talent, so he's really doing work with the Howling Blast quest. And once that he has that done, then you have the additional slow and utility 2 on your death coil, so that's not too bad. They're still ahead by 2 levels, basically, and have a talent advantage. Hogger, though. Syndragosa already in. And what do you know? They go for Tyrande and they get that kill. Tyrande is gone. 2 forts destroyed by now. Now they have to remember what happened on the last map, because if they allow the opponent to again gain this much momentum, this could get problematic. Copy is gone. Yeah, but Rhaegar with the self-ancestral. What about Chen? The strafe nearly finished them off, but they get Khaldor. So they might not have gotten Chen, but they drop Anubarak and they drop Khaldor. The blue team is back to their old shenanigans. Momentum, momentum, momentum. That's basically what they're doing here. And they are taking them down one after another. Big hits coming from the team. And things are working right now. So they get the camp, pushes towards the top, making moves over in the middle as they're trying to take the last remaining fort out. We got now 29,000 damage for Vala. Vala with strafe and arrow as a combo. Easy top damage in the game. Uncontested. Absolutely uncontested. Arthas has the same amount of damage as we see from Chen. So, still, again, he's working the baseline. He's getting the Howling Blasts in. He's setting the team up for success here. But if we are looking at a real late game and he keeps to be... if he continues to be diligent about his stacks on the baseline, he could get some serious auto attack damage in as this continues. So towards the late game, this could become a problem. If he walks you down with his aura and then works in the auto attacks, this could still hurt a lot. So something to consider. And they're of course still 2 levels ahead. Abathar has at least now gone for the spatial efficiency to get the stabs in. Coming in for Anubarak, and they drop him too. Gets caught, gets killed. 26 stacks for Vala. She's building them 15 stacks for Arthas. So that's the next good news here for them. And the only fort that is still standing for the Goon Platoon is in the middle. I love this series, by the way. It has everything. Total blowout in game number 1, then this massive comeback with Azmodan in game number 2. Now we see Arthas in the main tank position with Abathar. No Illidan or insane copy target like Greymane, but they're making this work extremely well, and it is just a cool way for them to play this out. So now on level 16 we get the adrenaline boost that is empowering Arthas in particular, and they even get a kill against Khaldor just with Syndragosa alone. Quest completed for Alarak though, so he finishes the level 1 up. But they are still struggling through that bot lane as we have a double camp set up for the blue team and a catapult behind it. So lots and lots of momentum being built up again. Disciple gets killed. Yeah, getting sadism stacks together here is a chore for him. It's really, really a problem as they are just not giving him any space to work with. And now the keep has officially fallen. Keep is gone and they're going straight for the core. Abathar, by the way, is now tunneling into the middle. and is going to get them another Dragonite. Down here, Chen has fallen. Bye-bye, Tyrande, and they are gone.
And we say bye-bye.
That's going to be a 2-1 lead for the Clawy Kittens. I don't see a world in which they can defend this again. Kel'Thuzad is gone, the bounty is failing, and this is victory on Dragonshire for the Clawy Kittens. Vala on 49,000 hero damage now as they lock in the W on the third map of the series. Nicely done, GG, and well played. Match point, map number 4. It's match point for the Kittens as they locked in another victory here. I like that combo. Abathur plus Arthas, that's kind of huge in my book. Honestly, anything that gets Arthas into a great position and has Abathur in it, I'm a fan of. The Goon Platoon with, again, a bounty attempt, but also a comp that needed momentum. If they built momentum with all of the CC tools that they have there, with the stuns, with Alarak and his damage, his combo that he can unleash, then all of a sudden, you know, you are in a situation in which you can just run over your opponent. But the Kittens never allowed that to happen, so they shut them down. Now that we're going into game number 4, we actually have a bit of a shift away from the earlier pattern that we saw from the Kittens. They're banning out Cho'Gall. They're maybe worried about him. Could still focus on banning more tanks. Keep in mind that this Ophia ban was something that they were still pretty big on. And since they are now the ones that have first pick, first ban, if they do not ban Tyrael, they can lock in Tyrael for themselves. So that's one play to make here. So we got, well, Hanzo and Junkrat banned out, but this could be a Tyrael pick for them now. So far, this was always their biggest concern. Banning out Tyrael against the Goon Platoon. Now, it seems that they might actually move away from this. I mean, they're hesitant on that first pick for quite a bit here. Map choice was, by the way, made by the Goon Platoon. He has the Tyrael pick. Krankle locks in Tyrael for himself. And, of course, now the question, how does the other team respond? Because the Goon Platoon, if they do not lock in a tank now, it means that we are going to see likely another one banned out. And we are in game number 4, so 30 heroes were played and cannot be played again, starting to really limit the options of some of the roles a little bit. Not by too much, again, we got 89 heroes in the game at the end of the day, and Wit is now going for an early ETC pick, and they immediately take D.Va. So you can see how the priorities have now started to shift. I've talked about this ever since the game started, and since we saw the ban patterns of the Kittens. So now the priority for the Goon Platoon is a little bit different, and they're just valuing their main tank a lot higher than they previously did. So right now, that's kind of what we're getting here. With ETC early, D.Va taken, so that's already done with. And now that's also going to influence, of course, the final ban that we have on the side of the blue team. Genji and Cassia, so they go for the damage dealers here. And this is already troublesome to get things started with. But what are we going to get as the side laner, for example, now for the Kittens? And they could also still... well, no, they couldn't go for a triple frontline anymore, obviously. Duh, still need the healer. But I would assume that at least the red team is still gonna try and get themselves a bounty here. The question is just what. So for now we get Karazim banned. I mean, there's lots of aggression already with Tyrael. You could go Judgment, 7-sided strike. You have Genji with an X strike too. Sonya gets banned, so they don't want to go up against the triple front line. That includes her too. Would also be nice for some of the wave clear, of course. Camp clear, more so. And, well, for the red team, they need to try and bring this one back, right? So for them, a victory here is absolutely crucial. If they lose now, they are dropping down into the loser's bracket. They're not out of the tournament yet, but it would mean that the Kittens move on to the winner bracket final as we get Uther. So that a holy cow is possible. Gimme, and they go Gazlo. Okay, so Gazlo is the bounty attempt. We got D.Va, Gazlo, and ETC at the front. That's some Wombo potential. Oh, give me that Gravo bomb into D.Va's nuclear explosion. Give me a D.Va explosion into Gazlo. Or maybe even with ETC Divine, with Mosh Pit. And the Divine Shield on top of it. The holy cow. Malthael and Oriel. Team Hoodie, look at that. 3 hoodies are in there. Now they just need Sylvanas and Vala, and they're completely set. But, yeah, can Gazlo make it? I mean, he can certainly bring a couple of advantages to the map. Especially with this many mercenary camps around, he can get those quickly. But we get Jaina as our final pick, and with that we're on for map number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, Gun of Terror. Match point number 1 for the blue team. Let's see what they're going to do with it. Game on. Bit of a moment of truth over here. We got the Kittens in the lead. They're currently running Malthael on Ubi. We got Vasilisco on Oriel. Morenas playing Cassia. Lopaka on Genji. And then Jordan, aka Krankle, on Tyrael. With the Ardent Restoration here as his level 1 choice. Disciple is running Gazlo for the red team. For the Goon Platoon, we got Herath on Diva. Ultralisk on Jaina. Wit on ETC, and on top of that, we're getting Scorch on Uther. So, ladies and gentlemen, off we go. This is the moment where the red team has to step it up, or it's going to get a bit tricky for them, because that would be loser bracket if you lose here. Well, they're instantly getting a kill. They're just sliding in and taking Cassia out. So that was a donation if I've ever seen one. Yeah, nicely done. Chloe Kittens, they move into the middle, absolutely not ready for this, and it's an insta-kill on Cassia, who apparently didn't even realize that the game already started. Lauber's hard, and they're trying to at least get a counter kill with a nice little whip, but not enough damage to successfully drop ETC. They are killing, though, Jaina. I mean, that was a bit of a bait, right? Jaina kind of realizing, hey, I'm dead anyways, and then trying to bait Genji in. Or at least it was a good reaction from ETC, because that Swift Strike reset would have saved Genji, if not for that insta reaction that we saw there. So it's already an aggressive game just from the get-go. We have Gazlo going for a camp at the bottom, and talking about camps, seems like the Kittens are saying, hey, if you're taking mercenary camps, how about we're helping you? And we're actually going to take this away from you. Don't think they can, though. But now that Genji is here, this is changing things slightly. They might steal this away after all. Because Gazlo, again, Gazlo is busy. Gazlo's at the bot lane. He has things to do. He has no time for this. He's an old school specialist. They're just looking at mercenary camps and at side lanes. That's all they do all game, every day. But with the camp stolen, that's already annoying for the Goon Platoon and applies pressure at the top. So, neat little move from the Kittens after initially losing some of their heroes. Malthael now has to deal with the bottom of the map, and does. We still would expect last rights, of course, for him. And there's a lot of good targets on the other side. Now, Uther can mitigate some of this with a Divine Shield, but that's a big cooldown to burn. And that means no Holy Cow if he does. So, this could get interesting. It's going to get really interesting. It was a nice back and forth match already, but this could really bring it to a bigger conclusion. We get the crowd surfer here. Always a cool playmaker talent. The easy peasy dimensional ripper for the Gas Lord as Genji goes in again, and Lopaka with all the aggression still has to slide out. ETC goes again for Cassia. Stun, 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 stun. The CC train is running wild on her, and this is another kill. Yeah, a little bit too much CC City for her to handle, and now Oriel gets targeted and might survive. They killed Uther, and then it's the laser show as Gazlo comes in and says like, boys, I'm here and you should not underestimate me, because if you do, I'm gonna wreck you. 4 kills to 2 now. Yeah, not too bad. I kinda like that. 4 kills to 2, and at the bottom of the map, we're at least getting Malthael with some real value for the team. Taking the gate down, nearly destroying the tower here too. Pushing Gazlo a little bit. But the red team has taken a lead in experience right now. It's certainly aggressive. It's an aggressive game. I mean, both of the teams are trying to go for some invade plays. They're setting traps on the map. It's a big map too. Still, one of the priorities is to attempt to go for some of your mercenary camps. But yeah, with ETC in particular, and that Gazlo stun follow-up, they're trying for CC and some real big slides. So, this is kind of working. Early level 7 talent, therefore, as a result, for the red team. But, well, we still got the attacks coming, as at the top, Lopaka is sitting tight, tries to get some damage in, and has screwed up a little bit. Is able to get away here. I mean, it was nearly a bait, but boy, Might cost... Yeah, it costs Tyrael's life. Tyrael is gonna die now. So, good news for the red team, I'd say. That's 5 kills to 2 now. But Genji a little bit too eager, I'd say. So, yeah. Jaina's going for more mercenary camps at this point in time. So she's working a few more of those. And then while that plays out, we're having Genji go back towards the top lane into a situation with D.Va that was exploited earlier. Nobody has gone for the seed, by the way. We're now nearly 5 minutes into the game and nobody has really made a move for the seed. So this is just going to extend the game a little bit more and extend the entire focus of the objective. Or will delay it. But they are just looking for kills and for action. The gap in experience is not really reflecting this too much, though. If you look at the experience gain so far, it's 1,000 more in hero XP, but they're also losing a little bit on mercenaries. So that is the offset, the trade that they have to deal with right now. And a lot of this is obviously coming from the blue team trying to steal a few of the camps away and successfully been doing that earlier at the top lane. Now, level 10 abilities will change that entire dynamic again. By now, we have also attacks against Tyrael once more, as they were trying to go for their seed. Everybody in the choke point here, and Malthael is enjoying his time here a lot. It's just a little bit sad that he doesn't have his last rites yet, or that could have been a kill or two. Depending on what Uther obviously decides to do. Still expect the Divine Shield, but how he's going to use the cooldown, that's a different story. And they get another one! They take Tyrael down. Poor Tyrael is getting absolutely crushed here. Tyrael has had no luck in this entire endeavor. He's having a very, very tough time here. Now they're trying to chase them even further. ETC with another slide. And they go for Morenas once again. And lock that kill in with ease. I mean, I gotta give that to the red team. They are absolutely running the show here right now. It's 7 kills to 2, and they've now extended their lead to nearly a level. So, they're looking really good here. We have maybe ETC in a bit of trouble. Wit has Showstopper though, and... Oh, okay, Tyrael! At this point, it's starting to become a little bit comical. Krankle has now died 3 times. And him jumping in like this secured another death. Showstopper just put ETC on the other side of that wall, and I don't think Tyrael was ready for that. Probably not anticipating it either. Thought he could stop him before he gets there. But that's 8 kills to 2. Make it 9 as Oriel falls. Yeah, this is not looking good at all for the blue team. Very different from what we've seen previously here. This is starting to become a real concern. And even the seed that spawns essentially on their side of the map has now been taken away from them. 21,000 damage for Genji is at least top damage dealer in the game. Not that it helps them. But, yep, this is going to be a tough one. I'm really curious if the blue team can get their act together and bring this back. Because in experience, they're not that far behind, but it's getting there. Can still fight this. He can still get to even talents on 13 and then go for a team fight or 2. But if the red team is now getting more value, let's say from Gazlo, get cams, get maybe a few more seeds, and then gets Garden Terrors too, at some point they're snowballing out of control. So yeah, at some point you gotta make your play. And now we have the attack at the top. It's a 4 versus 4. They gotta do something here. Bunny Hop is out. Can they get a kill, finally? X-Strike, Genji. Okay, he made it. He made it, but the fort still falls. So they couldn't get anything done here. The fort is still gone. And if maybe now against Ultralist, they're trying to get a kill on Jaina. Judgment on Uther. The Divine Shield is already out. But can they finally make a dent? And it just doesn't look like it. They're not getting anywhere with this. Absolutely nowhere. Level 13 talents are now available for the Goon Platoon, and they have extended their lead to nearly 2 levels at this point. So, yeah, they are heavily ahead now. And this is a second seed that they will likely get for more or less free. On top of that, the attack in the middle against Gazlo this time, so they're hoping to, at a minimum, take Disciple out. Even that doesn't work. Amongst other things, Judgment was on cooldown, so they couldn't hard engage on it. Here comes the combo, and Tyrael at least makes it. But it's a 5 versus 4 battle, and now Malthael is joining, so maybe they can land... Oh, actually, Malthael is not joining, no. Ubi is going for the next camp. I was thinking for a second he might be able to capitalize on some of the fight that's going on and drop a last right. With Divine Shield on cooldown, that could be a kill, but that's not happening either. Gazlo isn't here, he's at the bottom of the map now. But yeah, we are getting some crazy stuff here. Now level 13 talents are at least in the hands of the blue team now, so they can fight on even talents with the opponent. But they are not getting a lot of momentum. Genji jumps in again, has the X strike out. So that was the next problem here. 30,000 damage for Cassia, 28,000 damage for Genji. They got the numbers, they got the damage numbers, but they're just not translating into kills. And since they lost the first fort already, they are struggling here. They have now reduced the gap to a level, but this is also the 3rd seed now. So at some point, you just gotta man up and gotta fight it. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. So there's again the Gazlo wombo attempt to save himself. Genji is jumping in too. They got D.Va in play, pushing everybody back slowly. But half a level until 16, and then the kittens are probably not going to be willing to fight anything here. So it's kind of now or never. You have to fight for that seed and do what you can. You try and go for Herath first. Try and make a play there. That's not quite happening yet. But Uther is also dropping a bit low. Drops the Divine Shield. Or has dropped it already, so that's on cooldown. And a big cooldown too. Last right's not used, and we got Judgment back. Basilisk goes on the channel. So now they got some real potential here. Top lane is pressured though. They got the seed. Can they get a kill? Uther low and gone. They also got the stack for Malthael. So they have 1 stack for Malthael's ult, and they finally got a kill here. If they can clean a few more of these, that would be the dream if they can. Don't really think we're gonna get there, but I guess we'll see. At least a fort at the bot lane could be in the cards. It's still a 1 level gap, but they have the numbers advantage. There's the Aegis. And is Morenas able to get away here? I don't think so. Way too much focus on Cassia. And at the end of the day, that's a bit more attention that she really wanted. So the red team gets themselves another kill. The seed is spawning. And I suppose by the time that it's up, we're gonna have, first of all, Cassia back, and we're gonna have the blue team with level 16 talents, so they can still fight this. They finally did okay in the last battle, so I guess that's something. But 1 more seed for the red team would mean Garden Terrors. And again, you're already behind. If you lose more ground, then it's going to eventually come back to bite you. Now with level 16 talents on both sides, we're now getting the Reservoir of Hope. We also have the Martial Law in play. 1 stack for Malthael, as mentioned before. At least the seed position is good for them. So this could be their second one. ETC, there's the channel, and they get it for free. Completely free. So this is where it gets interesting. Now both teams have 2 seeds, and the next one is going to decide which team gets the first set of Garden Terrors. That's basically what we're talking about right now. Can you get kills early? Yeah, nice damage. Not enough to threaten him. The entire time waiting if Tyrael would maybe commit to Judgment, but he didn't. Genji coming in with Reflect now. Yeah, sits at the top lane still and deals with the mercenary camp, so they have to be very careful at the bottom of the map. And it's the same problem. Judgment on Uther before he can get a stun on Cassia. But Auriel is now getting attacked in the back. Genji X-Strike! Maybe now! But the wombo from Gazlo! A beautiful reaction, and it leads to a double kill. As we have Tyrael and Genji destroyed. And then a second later, Uther, but they get the triple kill thanks to Cassia being murdered by Gazlo too. Nicely done. The second stack for Malthael. Maybe in the late game they can bank on it, but look at this. The second this entire thing played out, Gazlo realized he has an opportunity there and just locks in the full wombo, and now they're going for the seed, so this is going to be Garden Terrors. The Chloe Kittens, they are in real trouble at this point. They're in serious trouble. Malthael has been able to get himself 2 kills and 2 stacks, so that's 10-second cooldown reduction. if he can build this further, maybe at some point they have an actual shot at bringing the game back. But it feels that they're just losing ground by the minute. And now they're going to lose some of their forts, maybe even a keep. Because the keep, or the fort at the bottom of the map, that one's already gone. So, yeah, you can kiss that goodbye. In the mid lane, still trying to defend hard. Could hold that, but it's a stretch. And at the top lane, Malthael is at least ensuring that the keep doesn't get destroyed. It also means that the experience gap that we're seeing for the Goon platoon is getting extended. So an early level 20 is inevitable, I'd say. Especially now, Aegis, Jaina, Ultra... No way! They heal, but they finally get the kill. Alright, so they get Jaina. Can they kill more on the way out? Yes, they can. D.Va goes down. Gazlo is about to get destroyed, but hits the Divine Shield from Uther. Still not alive, and, well, there's the last rites. That's the third kill. 15-second cooldown reduction. So now we're talking. Now we're all of a sudden talking. Oh, and the tactical pause. Look at that. The tactical pause from Disciple. All right. Yeah, that backfired hard for them. Morenas is now down at the bottom of the map. Jaina has a baseline completed. But now with a 5 versus 2 on the map, they can go maybe for a few of the structures. And more importantly, they are still the ones that have 2 seats. They can get Garden Terrors too. Now they can push these lanes back, can go for Garden Terrors. They have Malthael with 3 stacks, so the cooldown reduction is really going to help him. And they also massively close the gap in experience, which means that they're now going to get a level 20 talent just a little bit behind the red team. And that is big. So let's see what they can do once that the Goon platoon is... Well, they are ready. So we're back in. But let's see what they can do with this one. Because that is where the game gets pretty interesting. Map is wide open. Lots of mercenary camps to claim. You can go for the forts. See if you can maybe destroy one at the bottom of the map at a minimum. Malthael is back to the wave clear at the top. We have 10 stacks now also for the Reservoir of Hope right here. So they can work a bit more on that. I mean, the more she can get there, the more stacks we're going to get for her as this continues, the better and the bigger the heal power that we get at the end of the day for Basilisco. So if you can build this up, then hey, fantastic. Level 20 talents, they even hit them first. In this case, it gives us the final curtain, by the way. So Malthael is not even going for a buyback. He's going final curtain on us. We get the diamond resolve on the side of Uther. We get redemption and the cooldown reduction with the extra upgrade. Gazlo, yeah, he's coming in with the big stuns too. But there's another hit. Another last ride. And it is a kill against ETC. They killed Oriel though. Oriel is gone. Malthael is also a bit too low here for comfort. And with now Cassia gone, judgment kill on Jaina. Ubi is still alive. But, well, as I say, they get stunned and murdered. I was just about to say, maybe has a shot at getting another ult on this fight, and that's not the case. So now they have only 2 heroes surviving, and they gotta fall back here. It's 10 kills to 16 now, though. Seed is spawning, and that is the first time that the Goon platoon can deny the Garden Terrors to the blue team. Yeah, I mean, good fight for the red team. Good fight for the Goon platoon. But we still have a couple of stacks for the Reservoir of Hope. We have 1 stack for Malthael. 20-second cooldown reduction. That is already a big one. So, let's see how far this goes. I mean, at the end of the day, all I want to say here is that the Kittens, they have a ticket back into the game. You get yourself some Garden Terrors in one of the next 2 seats, and you have a shot to bring this back. They haven't lost a keep yet. That's big. Right here, Tyrael, careful. Crankle needs to be cautious. Seed is spawning, and the seed position is nice for them. Seed position is certainly nice, but they also have at the top lane to deal with another mercenary camp, so if they don't want to lose their keep here, then Malthael will have to go towards the top lane, or at least consider this, and it's going to be a bit dicey, because the seed is spawning, and what are you going to do with it? The red team is trying to make something work here too. So that team is already on it as we speak. Here comes the attack, and Aegis already used with the Diamond Resolve. Final curtain, still adding a little bit of value for them. So that's good news, but damn, they really want Malthael, don't they? Ultralisk, and he gets him! Ultralisk gets the kill. Ubi is gone. That was big. That was really big. Great kill for them. It was one of the biggest threats for sure. And now the keep at the top lane is gone. This keep doesn't stand a chance. Massive play for the Goon Platoon. That was a big play for them, and this is really starting to reduce the chances of the blue team to come back into this, especially since Tyrael is now killed too. So Tyrael is taken out, and yeah, it's starting to get really tricky. They go for a couple of camps still, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's seriously tough at this point, so I'm not sure how much they can do from here on out. They're sieging up at the core already. It's a 5 versus 3. They're looking for more kills here, and they certainly have a shot at making that happen. Right now, if they can get, for example, Cassia here, that would be fantastic. They are still kept in play, but Ultra is a bit low. Gets the Divine Shield though. But Genji gets out, and this might be a kill. Yes, Uther's gone. Has Redemption. Keep that in mind. Has Redemption. Divine Shield is gone. If they can take... Ah, good move. Good move by Gazlo. Gazlo is a menace right now. That bomb toss over here is quite the... I mean, look at this damage output. It's actually at 60,000. Way higher than I thought it would be. But yeah, if Uther would have been taken out, let's say, by another Last Rites, then that would have been really bad. 25-second cooldown reduction would make all of this just so much worse as well. So, yeah. Let's see how much more they can do now. And at this point, for example, we still have the attacks coming in here. They're looking for a few more hits. Bomb toss is just brutal. But we got Last Rites, we got Judgment, could be used now. Aegis again, Judgment into the back. Jane now with an ice block, uses it, tries to escape here. Malthael hasn't used his ult yet. They try the seed. They try the seed. Garden Terrors would be massive. Bot lane, by the way, another problem for the red team. There's catapults already. And now ETC is gone. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. This at the bottom of the map is already causing problems. We're 20 minutes into the game. The Garden Terrors are going to be right there. Gazlo is going to have to try and defend this. ETC gone, and they get the Garden Terrors. It's now or never. This is your ticket back into the game. This could be a long one. Malthael is pushing, but this was exactly what they needed right there. This little play. How much damage can they do with it? That's the question. The top fort will fall. Mid fort will fall. Can they get more kills? Divine Shield is out. That's a huge cooldown. That's the opportunity for Malthael to get himself another Last Rites kill. Gazlo is throwing the ult out whenever he can and sees an opportunity, but they didn't fall for it this time. 16 stacks on the Reservoir of Hope, by the way. Keep is taking some damage at the bottom of the map, but not enough. They're pushing through the middle instead. They're opening another wall up, but can they do enough damage on those keeps? ETC back in 6. Back in 6. They want the kill and they can't get it. Crankle is moving back out. Mid lane keep has taken damage. They try, but they cannot get D.Va either. So they get damage in, but they gotta move back. And by the way, this top fort has not fallen yet. It still will likely get wrecked now. But they gotta destroy it, because if not, then there's still gonna be catapults against the core. And we're now 22 minutes in the game. So this is starting to become a little bit too burdensome. And the fort is still standing. The fort at the top is still standing. They need to send somebody up there in order to deal with it. How annoying are these stuns by Gazlo, by the way? Oh my god. Like, crazy stuff. So they go for a few more of the mercenary camps, trying to establish control here. Catapults are building up at the top. Somebody needs to deal with it. And I got some bad news for Kitten fans, because this is the third seed for the red team. The next seed, if they take it, they got a next set of Garden Terrors. And we are now pretty late in the game. The later we go, the stronger they get. So the blue team needs a team fight victory. And to be fair, they've done better in the last couple of battles. But we could very well go to a 5th map on this. Genji going for the camp, and yeah, Ubi, he's obviously the one trying to deal with not only the wave, but more so the catapults, and there's also the mercenary camp he comes in. Tyrael gets killed again. This is really not Cranker's game, is it? He died 6 times already. Cassia and Tyrael died 6 times each, and Tyrael is not going to be back for the seed. So, how are you going to play this? This could be checkmate right there. Garden Terrors taken. Lanes already pushed back. Yeah, good luck dealing with that situation. That's going to be a very, very annoying one. Yeah, I certainly don't envy them on that. So how they deal with this, I mean, your guess is as good as mine right now. I think they're going to let this go. And then you have to just somehow deal with the Garden Terrors. I just don't know how exactly that's going to happen for them. They already lost one keep. They're now going to lose more. And they might lose the game. 19 versus 13 kills. 78,000 damage. Gazlo is by now the top damage dealer on the red team side. Cassia with 90,000, but she also died 6 times. Malthael, again, yes, 20-second cooldown reduction. It's not enough to drop it. And, well, with Cassia attack, Cassia's gone. That's game. That's just game. Now your top damage dealer is gone. Your keeps are falling. I'm sorry. We are going game 5. There was a nice engage from the back against D.Va, but the keep in the middle is gone. The keep at the top, long gone. Bottom of the map, another one is about to fall. The core already under attack. We are going to the final map in the series. 100%. There's no stopping this anymore. This is the Goon Platoon with another W. The Kittens, they lose on Garden of Terror, and we are going to the final map of this best of 5 series. GG. We're going to Towers of Doom, the first 5-mapper in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Very nice. So, the Goon Platoon, they made it work in game number 4, and now we're going to our final map, which obviously also means immediately that 40 heroes are now unavailable. Seems like the Goon Platoon... I'm actually really curious if they're going for bounty now. This is now a situation in which you would probably benefit quite well from just moving on to the next round. Taking the risk here, if you end up in the loser's bracket, again, could work out for you. The problem is that if you lose one series there, you just make one mistake, player gets sick, whatever it might be, and you are out of the tournament. So the Kittens, they had a few moments where it really seemed, okay, they're making it back into the Garden of Terror match. But at the end of the day, they just weren't able to win those final few team fights. And Tyrael in particular really struggled. So a good effort by the Goon Platoon. But now that we're heading into Towers of Doom, we'll see who claims it here. Junkrat banned, Ophia banned, Vikings unfortunately also taken out. Are they still targeting the front line here? And no, they don't. They ban Medivh. Okay, apparently at this point, tanks are just up for grabs. Doesn't really matter anymore. Is that going to be a priority? And the answer is no. They want to go for Hanzo. They take him. So great pick, obviously, heading into a 5th game in a series where you can play heroes only once. They're starting things up with Hanzo for Ultra. This is a really strong pick for them. Whereas for the Kittens, they could now go into the main tank, put a bit more pressure onto the red team. Diablo is still up, for example. Plenty of others too. May as well. But Diablo pick would certainly not be too shabby here. And, well, they go for Stitches instead. Stitches Sonya. Alright, so with that, they have now an opportunity to run the hooks on them. It's actually kind of funny that they banned... It's kind of sad that they banned Medivh. At this point, I'm honestly asking myself if they thought Medivh would be a first pick. Because if you think about it, yes, after you take Stitches Sonya, or Stitches in general, if you pick Medivh as your opponent's team, whenever there is any kind of hook, Medivh is at the ready with a solution, right? But if you get Medivh with Stitches, you have a kidnap combo. Get that hook, get that gorge, portal, bye-bye, and then you can get the kill. And now we're getting Phoenix and Mei. So it seems like even in game number 5, the Goon Platoon is going to try and lock in a bounty. If they go Phoenix Planet Cracker here, that's another bounty attempt for them. So we'll see what they can pull off now. So, yeah, that's not too bad. Let's see what they can actually do with this. I mean, right now we get Tracer, so she gets banned out. Would be another powerful pick for them. Kind of curious what we're getting for raw damage on the side of the Kittens now. But yeah, the series has been all over. Great. Really entertaining. Kind of like it. And also on the last map, I mean, lots of moments where it just seemed like maybe, you know, the blue team can come back. So Kel'Thas, he gets taken. Well, banned. So no gravity lapse after a Gorge, for example, or after a hook. So he brings in damage. He also has CC tools that he can contribute. If you're running Stitches, that's kind of nice. Stukov, by the way, I believe is still up too, so you could go for a Stukov follow-up on some of these plays. I think on the healer side, we're still totally fine. We don't struggle too much. Alexstrasza is also open in case that you want to go for a bounty attempt on the blue team side all of a sudden. So they go for Karazim instead, 7-sided strike as a follow-up. And then we get Jimmy. So Reyna is in the house. Some nice auto attacks here. But with Karazim, yeah, you can isolate a target with Stitches, and then you have the 7-sided strike available for added damage. So there's a couple of really annoying combos that they can run. Wit is playing Mei. Still later, we also have the Cleansing Touch, obviously, for Karazim. I don't think that they need to spec into a damage variation with him here. But for the red team, we're now getting Thrall and we get White Mane. So Thrall plus Mei at the front line now. We'll see how Thrall is going to play this. If we're going to get Echo of Elements still, or if he goes for a different focus. Echo of Elements could still rotate between the lanes here. He is going to be the one that has to be rotating between mid and top. That's at least the assumption for now. So Echo of Elements would probably be a good choice on level 1 for Thrall. And then work towards that mythic reward. And for the blue team, well, last but not least, we get Valeera. So, okay. Apparently, in this case, they're also eager for a bounty, or they're just saying, well, with her, we might be able to take them down. Let Valeera rip them apart here. Towers of Doom is our 5th map in the series. It's the final one. Winner goes to the next round, to the winner bracket final, and the loser drops down in loser's bracket. Let's see who takes it. Let's go. The Kittens in blue on the final map, and already some interesting choices that we need to talk about. But first, Ubi on Sonya for the blue team. We get Vasiliskio on Karazim. Murenas is playing Jimmy. We're getting Krankle with Stitches on Jordan with Hungry for More. Lopaka on Valeera, and Murenas on Reyna, as I already mentioned. Disciple, he's going into the Maelstrom weapon actually. So despite the fact that he will likely be the one to rotate between the mid and the top lane, no Echo of Elements, but instead focus on the auto attacks here with Thrall. We got Scorch on Whitemane, Wit on Mei. Heroes is playing Phoenix, and then Ultra Lisk with Hanzo. As we get stacks for Jimmy. Veteran marksman, the hook, and Jimmy goes in with a and gets himself a first stack. Congratulations. So, longer the game lasts, the better for him. Poor Valeera is already struggling here. Went into the crippling poison on level 1. As we're getting, yeah, just I mean, the hooks right now already annoying. Bikini Stitches once his level 13, so he gets the hook range increased as usual. And as long as he can also get himself a couple of additional globes, that would be neat too. Missed actually out on one. Could have gone for the camp. Wasn't taken yet. But the more he can gather here, the better as the game continues. First of all, you get your movement speed in, and then also the hit points themselves. So getting that big fat hit point pool is always nice. Ubi is baiting a bit with Valeera, or well, with Sonya for Valeera, but Ultralisk sniffed that out, so that wasn't really a problem. And in the meantime, we have Jimmy trying to work his stacks up. Also, we got Thrall there. Yeah, Thrall is part of the 4-man. We have Phoenix on the top lane. I mean, Phoenix as a side laner is actually not that bad because you have an escape tool with your warp. You have also the shield mechanic that you can play through. All of those things really help on the side laning. And you have some AoE too that you can utilize. So one of the reasons. Oh, and that's a bad awakening. Yeah, Lopaka gets some quick damage in, but it doesn't even properly break through the shield. They're going to get the camp though. So yeah, Herath is annoying over here. But the shield mechanic is certainly helping him in that situation. And Valeera was just not able to do anything about it. No kills yet. But small advantages. And already some halfway decent stacks for Thrall. The problem with Maelstrom weapon, wow, they actually got him. Okay, Phoenix fell for it after all. Maybe thought that they were not moving away here, I'm not quite sure, but either way, that's the first blood of the game. Thrall has 10 stacks now on his level 1. The problem with Maelstrom weapon really is that it's very difficult to get to that second quest reward and then also to the mythic reward. Now, if you're able to pull that off, that's great. but oftentimes it's difficult to get there. So he's actually working some decent attacks in as we speak, but time will tell if he's successful enough with his plays to get mad value out of this. But 13 stacks for now, that's not too bad. Isn't able to follow up with another attack, a little bit too low on the hit point department, but still, it's a good start into all of this. Jimmy is now, of course, also stacking, as we mentioned before. He's sitting at 6. Stitches is getting a couple more globes in. And Morena's over here, so far, still fine. Again, working attacks in and just building that damage for the later stages of the game. I guess they could have played it out a little bit differently. Ace in the hole, yeah, you can get still value through some tools, especially once that Stitches hits his level 16 talent and gets pulverized. But at that point, you should also be in possession of a decent amount of stacks. So he's sitting at 9 right now, but we'll have to build that way more aggressively throughout the game if he wants to get proper value out of it. Now getting some body blocking in, another hook, alright. Thrall with another connect, and that actually completes his wolf. So he's already done with his level 4 talent, and he is nearly getting his first quest reward for Maelstrom weapon. And he even took Jimmy down at the bottom of the map. So good news for the Goon platoon over here. There's actually some really nice moves for them. Because Thrall, it's gonna get easier for him once he has his first quest reward, and he's extremely fast about that as is. Now I still expect Planet Cracker for Phoenix, since that's the bounty. But it's a kill for a kill. Altars are being exchanged, and it is the red team that takes 2 out of the first 3. Oh, Hanzo makes it! Nice. Ultralisk is able to escape. And we have the 25 for Thrall. And Thrall is gonna get more here, yeah? Movement speed and everything else that they're bringing in. Phoenix goes down, but the counter kill against Stitches. And that could help Thrall to stack even further. Not quite. But as I already said, he is working the numbers, and this is a great start for him. With all the changes that we've seen over the last couple of months and years, I mean, really, there are so many champions, so many heroes in the game that are just centered around... Oh, okay, bye-bye. That was that. That are just centered around stacks and late-game scaling. If you go for Jimmy and you have him with good stacks on Veteran Marksman, you can get an enormous amount of value there. And all of these things are working quite nicely as the game continues, as you are prepping for more team fights later on. That's something that will play a role for not only Jimmy, but also for Stitches. It will play a role for Thrall. And if any of these are able to just excel in that department, that late game scaling could really favor that team heavily. So we'll see what they can do here. I mean, Jimmy died once so far. That's 10 stacks by now. And at the top, Phoenix gets killed again. This is the 3rd time that he has been dropped. Yeah, Phoenix is struggling on that side lane. This is not really working out the way that they intended. So we got the Kittens with 4 kills to 2. 3 kills against Phoenix. And now we get very aggressive talents from them. Leap, and on top of that, the 7-sided strike. I mean, the ladder is obviously expected. But leap over the typical Wrath of the Berserker play that we've seen in the playoffs. That is quite a statement. The red team doesn't have level 10 yet. I don't think that something is going to happen on the shrine. But now that Thrall is gone and got taken out by Valera, this might change things a little bit. Here comes the Hyperion. They're getting more hits in with specifically Jimmy, so very nice. More stacks, more damage, more connects here. Hyperion damage too, zoning them out away from Ubi, who's channeling the altar. And then we get the Planet Cracker. As expected, the attempt to go straight for the quest for the bounty. All is by now back to and Phoenix gets killed again. This is just in general the Phoenix slapping. Phoenix is just getting slapped all day, every day. And he's not the only one. And Hanzo gets now eliminated, so that's 7 kills to 2. 30 stacks for Thrall. That's the good news. The bad news is they just lost an altar in a horizontal spawn. That typically shouldn't happen. Stitches on 15 stacks. And they go for Valera. These, these Valera attacks are really starting to do a number on them. They really are. That's a bell tower now converted over. We get 8 kills to 2. And they gobble up Thrall, and, well, I'm not sure if they can get a kill here, but they might actually. And Thrall is gone. He's not the only one that dies. The blue team is now once again going for some mad attacks as they're taking down Mei. So Thrall and Mei are gone, and the momentum that we're seeing here is absolutely bonkers. Valera is honestly doing an amazing job setting these kills up for them, and gets a huge amount of damage in the process too. She's at 16,000 damage right now. Jimmy is top damage in the game on 20,000, but with 5 bell towers to 3, there is a huge amount of pressure on the Goon platoon. They're really in trouble at this point. So Valera is teeing up one fight after another for them, and is really sneaking up on particularly Phoenix and on Thrall. So that has started to become a mad problem, and now we're having another pumpkin camp about to be claimed. So they're stealing that away too. Stitches has the hook extension by now, so that makes him a lot more dangerous as well. And after they've now taken the bell tower at the top, Phoenix is of course attempting to reclaim it, but the blue team is pressuring the bot lane now, and is trying to make a move here. So at this point, we have Phoenix at least getting value, so he's going to take that back. Hireth is on it. But now at the bottom of the map, well, we have Hyperion out again. Leap. Oh! And here comes the Planet Cracker. But Thrall was gobbled up. 7-sided strike. And he's gone. Another hook, another kill. The blue team, they're going through them like hot butter through cheese. They go for the shrine at the bottom of the map, get 4 shots fired, and now they can of course not only take the core down a little bit more, but they're also going for the bell tower again. A 2-level lead. What a game again by the Kittens. Lots of momentum here, especially with just these combo plays. We're getting a kill in, and the next hook comes, another Gorge, another isolation, Sonya with good coordinated lead that allows them to go for another kill, and it's really starting to work for them. 22 stacks for Jimmy isn't insane, but again, he's on his way. Stitches has now a decent hit point pool. He has the extra 500 HP and also a bit more movement speed, so 10% movement speed in total now. First of all, 5 through picking the talent, and then another 5 by hitting 20. Here comes another connect, but didn't have his... Oh well, there's the Gorge now. On Mei though, and Stitches is a bit low and was too optimistic here. And Jimmy is also going to suffer. So Jimmy is gone. Top damage for Hanzo. And that brings the red team back and allows them to retake the bell tower. Valera. Sneaky. Sees white main. Goes for white main. And then Karasim is on it. I actually think they didn't coordinate that properly. I don't think they talked about this. I think white main went in, Vasilisco saw it, and then tried to engage because Valera came back, and now they're getting both killed. So that sequence was unfortunate for the Kittens. I really think that Karasim thought she wants to finish the job and was helping out, and then once that he re-engaged, Valera already backed off, and all of a sudden this entire thing turned against them. So now we got a double altar up that could be channeled by the Goon platoon. They're still protecting the altar at the top, so that's going to be 8 shots fired. And to make this a little bit tricky for the Kittens, we are now in a situation... First of all, it's 24 points to 24. But we are now in a situation where Thrall is at 41 stacks. Again, 55 is the big one. If you get to your Mythic Reward, that's obviously insane. But still, if you get to 55, that's a huge single target damage increase. So, if he is able to get there now, then that would change the dynamic in the game for sure. And, well, they are working more damage in. There's the control of the bell tower at the bottom. Thrall is now moving into Gorge already up. And that's the end of Jimmy. Jimmy is already gone. 7-sided strike is in. Everything focused on this now. It's a 4 versus 4. And Stitches is eliminated. Stitches eliminated. Ragdoll is getting kicked around. His corpse desecrated as Phoenix has gone for a camp. And Thrall is only 10 stacks away from unlocking his second quest reward. So he's really, really close. Oh, there's Valera again. Thrall. I was waiting for that wolf. And they take down Karasim. 9 kills to 14, and with a 5 versus 3 bell tower situation, they could go for the boss too. With Hanzo, they're immediately there, and this is starting to get tricky for the Kittens. They had some momentum in this game. A huge amount of momentum. They were massively ahead in kills. I mean, they still are ahead in kills. But they're now losing control of this. Towers of Doom was always a late game map, and it's all about how you perform there, how much momentum you can build up. And the honest truth is that right now, the red team is just simply doing better. We have 40,000 damage for Thrall, so already even without the second quest reward, he's the top damage dealer in the game. 31,000 for Jimmy. But this is where things are getting difficult. 5 shots fired. That puts them down to 15, and at the bottom of the map, there's still an altar up that Lopaka is willing to fight for. Sonya's trying to retake, and Thrall! Thrall actually got gorged up. Thrall got hit. That's the problem. Thrall got hit, and now Valera wants a kill. Can't get it. Leap. Oh! And brrrr, down goes the assassin. Valera is gone. Altar channel at the top left. That's 3 shots fired, but we still have a shot at the bottom with the bell tower right there. Or with the altar. And that's another 5 shots fired against the blue team, who are now going to drop down to 10 points on their core. Even with Thrall dying, he was at least able to get himself some additional stacks. And again, this entire game is not just hinging on Thrall getting to that threshold, obviously. They're already doing well. I mean, they are a level ahead right now. And they have the opponent's score down to 10 points. But the crucial point about this is simply, once they have Thrall on 55, he is going to have an even bigger impact than he already does in this game. No, okay. Yeah, it's the Sundering and he actually gets away. I thought the Gorge hits him for sure. If he gets Gorged there, he's just dead again. Imagine getting Hook, Gorge killed, coming back, and then the first thing that happens once you appear on the lane is that the entire thing is just happening again. That would be crazy. But yeah, Thrall, if he gets to the 55, it would make things so much worse for the Kittens. It's already tough for them. And we might even see some of the pumpkins connect here. 1 pumpkin is in, there's number 2, and that's the core in the single digits now. Single digits on the core, 8 points to 21, and guess what? There's a level 20 talent now for the Goon Platoon. They're gonna lock it in right here. Valera still waiting for victims to approach, and that hasn't really happened yet. We get the Windrush, Scarlet Crusade, and the big one for May. So, single altar spawn is coming up. They're all just double checking. Lopaka patiently waiting. Oh, he's AFK. it's one of the two. And the altar is coming in a moment. This could be where Thrall completes his quest. Or well, gets the second reward. So, well, at this point, they are closing in. Valera just rushes away. Is able to get out. They got the bell tower. 4 to 4. Channel happens. They're down to 4 points on the core. Meaning a boss can end the game now. 1 boss ends the game. Valera went for the elusiveness. And Karazim, Fist of Legends. Arrow. There it is. Thrall gets a few hits in, but not too much. Gotta be careful with the Hyperion that is now out there. They got a nice connect on at least Stitches, but the Planet Cracker was not able to finish the job here. So that didn't work for them. Guys dodge again on that hook. Need to stay away from those. They want to maintain control over that bell tower. If they do, the next double altar phase could end the game in their favor. Thrall again. Not done with the quest yet, or with the second reward. But once he does, things are gonna get worse. And of course, the progress for especially Reyna has significantly slowed down. He's at 25 still. Yeah, Sonya Precious in the middle. They could get this one. If they do, then a single altar channel is not going to end the game in favor of the Goon Platoon anymore. So that's one of the reasons why they're so adamant about either retaking the bottom or the mid lane. So now it's a 5 versus 3 in favor of the Kittens. And that can bring things back, of course. Even more reason to maintain control over the bot lane. So they gotta be super careful here. But the double altar is coming up. Double altar is now coming. And here is the approach of the blue team. They're entering from the top. They can't just move through lane. Yeah, Stitches gets attacked. Sonya Leap not connecting. Stitches is really low. There's the wolf. And the Sundering. Bye-bye. Quest done for Thrall. The second reward unlocked. And Stitches is already gone. And Thrall with 57,000 damage. Already the top damage dealer in the game. And he's just continuing. He goes in, takes down Sonya, they take down Karazim. They should get both of the channels, and this looks very much like game. Seems like the Goon Platoon successfully turned this series around and is going to continue through the winner bracket here. There's the brrrr from Phoenix. That's a kill. Shots fired, 1 point on the core. The channel happens, and after an amazing start for the Kittens into the series, it is the Goon Platoon that finishes it with a victory and sends the blue team into the losers bracket. Nicely done, GG, and well played.